And it's 2025 and it's March, which means we're coming up on the 5-year anniversary of COVID. What a crazy time. Guys, COVID, have you seen this? Have you heard about this? It was crazy. Everybody lost their minds for almost a year, right? Your uncle suddenly became like an expert on immunology, and he wasn't wearing a mask, and he's no longer with us. RIP to a real one. And then, your sleeve tattoo friends are still wearing a mask, right? So it's exciting times, man. I'm glad we survived it. I survived the first time. And I actually, this sounds gross to say, but I had a pretty easy time during lockdown, and I'm happy that I did. And now some of that is I was lucky enough to have a work from home job, right? That wasn't interrupted at all from the pandemic, right? And I had stable housing, right? I had a roommate that was kind of crazy, but who doesn't have a crazy roommate in New York, right? Me and my crazy roommate hanging out. I'm having a nice time basically throughout lockdown. And it made me think, because it's been half a decade since it's happened, right? Or since it started. And there might be another one, or there might not be. I was talking to Maxim, my producer guru. Shout out to Maxim. And he asked me if I thought there was going to be another one. And my honest answer is I don't know, because I am not a man of science. But if there is another one, I think I have some tips on how to make your next lockdown survivable, possibly even enjoyable. So here they are. I don't know how many. If I was any kind of professional, I'd be able to tell you how many things I was going to tell you, right? And then that wouldn't stress you out. You wouldn't be like, how much longer am I going to listen to this video? But it's some amount of tips that I have about how to survive another lockdown, because I think I did okay. I'm alive, right? It has nothing to do with COVID specifically. Maybe it's fucking the measles, or maybe the aliens found out about us and they hate when we go outside. So we just have to stay inside so they don't get pissed, right? So lockdown 2.0, here are my suggestions. Hopefully you're not listening in the future and actually taking notes, because it's about to happen. But the first thing I recommend during a lockdown is keep the same routine, right? You have to do the same thing every day or you'll lose your mind, right? You got to wake up in the morning. You got to brush your teeth. You got to put on regular clothes. Don't wear PJs. Even though you're not going outside, you want to look presentable. You want to act as if you could go outside and talk to an attractive member of the opposite or same sex, right? Depending on your orientation, or both, or neither. I don't know what to do if you're asexual. I don't know what you guys do besides sit alone in a white room and eat crackers. But you got to do the same thing every day, right? Or even optimize it. That's what I learned during lockdown, dude, is that I was getting such good sleep. And I'm so gay for sleep, dude. 7 to 9 hours. There's nothing more important, I think, than getting sleep. I'm going to talk more about sleep later, but for now, you're doing a lockdown, dude. Sure, you don't have to wake up until 2 minutes before you start working, but you should have a routine and you should wake up early and do something before work. Here's what I was doing, because I was working traditional 9 to 6, right? But I would wake up at 6 a.m., right? That's 3 hours before work, and I'm not doing anything crazy. Taking a shower, I'm meditating, I'm doing 5 minutes of Duolingo on Spanish. No, I do not speak Spanish. The app doesn't work, right? And then I read for 25 minutes. I eat a hearty breakfast, and then I'm ready to go. I'm ready to telemarket like a boss, dude. You know? So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, oh my God, we're numbering them now, folks, right? Tip number 2 is avoid doom scrolling. Right? Social media sucks. It's invented by rich people to get you to watch their advertisements and not do fun things like walk in nature or talk to the person next to you, right? It's bad news. But you want to stay informed. So here's what you do. You make an effort to consume the news for 25 minutes a day. So what do I mean by that? You decide when the best time is for you to consume the news. It should be the same time every day if possible. Maybe during lunch, maybe first thing in the morning. You don't want to do it right before bed, and I'll explain that later. But you look at what the time is. Say it's like right now, it's 5:33, right? Let's round it up to 5:35. You're consuming the news for 25 minutes. You set an alarm for 6. When the alarm goes off, you stop reading the news. You're not going to be less informed than anybody else that's doom scrolling. In fact, you'll probably be more informed because you're not following the algorithm. You're just doing, I almost said doing your own research, which is a problematic sentence now. But yeah, you're not, if you're like me, you doom scroll and you're like, I'm being a good citizen right now. You're not. You're getting negative dopamine hits from being angry. And we'll talk about how being angry is useless later, but you're not being productive. You are being the opposite of productive. You want to go to Ground News, shout out Ground News, and you want to, any given topic that is hot, that's popular, right? You read the article that they have designated for you as a centrist view, and then you read the right-wing view article, and then the left-wing view article. And then if you're like me, you go, well, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but I tried my best. And then 6 o'clock comes around and you do something else. So that's trick number 2. Tip? I have no idea. Tip number 3 is while you're working from home, assuming you are working from home, I know that's a privilege and not everybody has it, right? This is really optimal for if you have an email job, right? A soulless email job. Here's what you do. Fucking kill it at work, dude. Just do your gosh darn best. Because everybody else is going to be slacking off because of the distractions, right? But you could hack your mind to not be distracted even though you're working from home. Here's what I do. I use what I call the tomato method. And the tomato method basically is this. There was an Italian philosopher, and whatever the Italian word for tomato is, this is what he called the method. Dude, Italian people love tomatoes. It's how they make their sauce, right? But the reason he called it the tomato method is because his alarm was shaped like a tomato, right? So here's the 25 minutes thing again. He sets his alarm for 25 minutes and does a task. When the alarm goes off, he does something fun for 5 minutes. Then rinse and repeat. In an hour, you're working for 50 minutes, which is more than most people will work in an hour. Do that for 4 hours. Take a half hour to an hour lunch. Repeat. Boom. Maximum productivity, right? And hopefully you're doing something you like. I was a telemarketer the whole time, right? So that was not great. It's not great for your brain, but if you could, I don't know. If you trick yourself into thinking you're doing something important, and sometimes you are, because sometimes people buy the thing you're selling, but most of the time you're like, well, if these boomers can't figure out how to put their phone on do not disturb, that's not my fault. You know what I mean? And my next tip is keep your nutrition on point. A lot of these are things that you should be doing anyway, but they are equal parts important and easy during a lockdown. Important, right? Because you're going to need to get your serotonin from somewhere. You're not seeing your friends in person. You're not doing fun things. You're not, if you're single, you're not having intimate times with people if you're being safe, right? Unless during COVID, you're using a dental dam. If you use a dental dam, please let me know in the comments. I've never met a person that's actually used it. But yeah, nutrition on point. You got to eat somewhere between, listen, if you're a healthy 5'6" like me, around 2,000 calories is great, right? If you're a respectable 140 like me, 140 grams of protein, that's great. You eat one piece of fruit a day, usually a banana. Banana is the best fruit because you don't have to fucking wash it. It's perfect, right? 4 servings of vegetables. I like to do 2 servings of carrots, 2 servings of broccoli. Then let the fats and the carbs fall where they may. I have no idea how any of that works. I only pay attention to protein, right? But don't be afraid of fat. Fats are good. Fucking guacamole, that has fat. You love guac. Person that I'm talking to, you love it so very much. And exercise, dude. So the gyms will be closed in the next lockdown, right? So you want to do 6 days a week. You want to do a home exercise for at least 45 minutes. Cardio is great. If your doctor has never said anything to you negative about your heart, I wouldn't worry about cardio. I would do strength training. I would do push-ups. I'd get a pull-up bar. That's so fun. You get to act like you're in prison, and in a way you are, right? Pull-ups, chin-ups, sit-ups, dude. Like fucking, what's his name? Travis Bickle and oh shit. What's the movie of Travis Bickle, Maxim? Am I being I'm fucking, this is why I should have the tablet next to me. Because I'm losing my mind with what this movie's called, right?
Sorry, what movie?
It's the guy.
I was doing my Duolingo.
Maxim was doing his Duolingo, and that's fair. What language?
Chinese.
Oh, ni hao.
Ni hao indeed.
Hell yeah, dude. What's the movie with Travis Bickle? It's driving me crazy.
With what?
Travis Bickle, go ahead, make my day. What are you looking at?
Go ahead.
Oh, wait, no, that's Clint Eastwood. Fuck, I'm also types of R-worded on this podcast today. What's the one where...
Sudden impact? Go ahead.
No, yeah, it's not that. Travis Bickle. Dude, when you say the name of the...
Fictional name. Taxi driver.
Thank you, Maxim. Oh my God, I was losing my goddamn mind. It wasn't even worth Maxim. I'm sorry. By the way, round of applause for Maxim. You could go back to your Duolingo now. I think that is crazy that for a riff that wasn't even important, I forgot the name of Taxi Driver. But yeah, if you want to do sit-ups like in Taxi Driver, that's fun too. Keep your nutrition on point, dude. But at the same time, you want to do Pizza Fridays. Okay, you had Pizza Fridays in school. Why? Why did the teachers do Pizza Friday? To keep you guys from starting a revolution, right? They're like, how do we get these kids to not rise up in a Pink Floyd type teacher leave these kids alone type situation, right? We give them pizza on Fridays. So you're eating right 6 days a week. I don't like cheat days, right? I think that's the wrong way to look at food. But lockdown, you're depleted from serotonin. How are you going to be happy? Brother, you are going to eat pizza every Friday. That's what I did during lockdown. Little Caesars pizza, some people think it tastes like lunchroom pizza, and it does. But the thing about lunchroom pizza is that it was fucking delicious, right? We all ate it. I think that's it. And the last thing to make your last lockdown enjoyable or as enjoyable as possible is to know that you don't know when it'll end, but it will end. We have never had a continuous lockdown, and the likelihood that we will is very small. All right. So don't lose your mind. Don't storm the Capitol. Don't topple pictures of Abraham Lincoln or statues of Abraham Lincoln, rather. Just have a nice time. Eat Little Caesars pizza. Sleep right. And don't doom scroll. Those are my suggestions. Guys, I love you. And, regardless of whether or not there's a lockdown, just take care of yourself. And sleep is most important. One thing I forgot to add is while you're doing lockdown, call people on the phone. We're all in text chains and group chats, right? And that's all fun and well. Call someone, set a time to call someone for how long? 25 minutes. That's the name of the game, right? That's a walk or two around the block. You're calling somebody, they're bitching about their day, which will make you think about the things you're bitching about a little less. And it makes it a whole lot easier. I think a lot of my friendships were strengthened by lockdown because I finally gave people my full attention, So that's the last thing I would add is call people now, especially if they're older and they're going to die soon.